Hello everybody and welcome to the third episode of the Lady Stairs Knits podcast. My name is Sarah. I am 25 years old and I live in Philadelphia, and I've been knitting seriously for about 4 years, although I think I learned how to knit when I was 6. My grandmother taught me. And I'm really excited to be back filming another episode. I've done a lot of knitting over the past 2 weeks. So let's get started. First, I have one finished object to show you, and it is the Huldras mitts by Inga of the Knitting Traditions podcast. I had noticed over the past few months that my boyfriend's hands get really cold when he's at work. He works from home at the computer, so I thought that it would be nice to make him a pair of fingerless mittens. And I brought down the boxes that my stash is in. He was very excited to be receiving a knitted item, and he chose some yarns, and I knit these up. So here they are. I think that they're great, and he loves them too. This is what they look like on. So he's at the computer typing like this. Free movement. These are great because they don't actually use up very much yarn, and I think that the color work is really effective. They just look really nice. The green is a yarn from, all of this is from Stash, but the green I had bought a good few years ago. It's Madeline Tosh Vintage, which I think is an Aran or worsted weight yarn in the color Joshua Tree. The purple, which is the background color, is Amantrine by the Fiber Co. in their Road to China light base. And there's a brown for the contrast, which I think is the Blue Sky Fibers Alpaca Silk. And it used about 2 grams of that for the color work at the top and bottom. I think it used about 1/3 of the ball of the green. And so that's like 40 grams, and then about 15 grams of the purple. So it really doesn't use a lot of yarn. If you have some special or particularly soft yarn and you want to make something out of it, this is an option. I improvised the color work on the thumb. I just thought it would be nice to have a little bit of interest there, a couple stripes. One thing that happened when I was making this, and I don't know how this happened, because it's the same needle size, I knit them within the same week. The second one is significantly bigger than the first one. And I have no idea why. I don't know what happened. I can't believe my tension would have changed that much in a few days. But just funny, it doesn't really make a difference when you're wearing them. This one just sits a little bit lower on the wrist, but it's just something sort of funny to note. One thing that's really great about this combination of yarns is that since the green is a much heavier weight than the purple, this color work gives it a real, very textured feel, and it's lovely. It's like a very tactile thing. It'd probably be pretty nice to, if you're like in a meeting or something, to just sort of mindlessly feel the bumps. I'll show you the inside, just because I think that that's pretty fun to look at. Looks like that. And I actually timed how long each of them took me, just for fun. And they each took me about 8 hours. So, pair of mitts, 16 hours of knitting. A huge huge success. My boyfriend loves them, and it's pretty funny. During the couple of days where I was knitting the second one, he had been wearing the first one, and you could really tell the difference in the temperature of his hands. It is so much warmer wearing the one with the one that he had been wearing the glove on. So I think it'll be nice for him to have a bit of a warmer hand situation while he works from home. I guess I'll talk about what I'm wearing as well. This is the Paloma pullover. The pattern is by Espace Tricot, and it's made in a red mohair de chèvre, I believe, and a pearl Soho line weight in the color red pine, which I think is discontinued. It's a great jumper. It has a split hem and a folded over collar. The sleeves are a little bit short, but that's fine. I don't care about it enough to want to go back. And this I wear on the coldest days of the year. Today it's -8 degrees Celsius out, and we just got a big snowstorm, so it's been keeping me warm today. I'm also wearing knitted socks. This is the Magic Toadstool sock pattern by Stone Knits in Whole Super Soft, which is not an ideal sock yarn, but again, it's great for really cold days of the year. There's just something about it that's so warm. And they're not the best fitting socks, but they do feel really nice on. And I love the material of the Whole Super Soft knit on such a small needle size. I think it's 2.25 millimeter. It comes out with a really nice feeling material. I think if I had a knitting machine, I would definitely want to make a jumper with this same gauge, but I wouldn't do it by hand. It would just take so long. So that's what I'm wearing. Next, I will talk about some whips. At the end of the last podcast, I listed 4 whips that I wanted to work on. The jumper, which is a test knit, a jumper which is out of the blue Nutiden yarn, a pair of socks for my dad, and the orange Musselburgh hat. I guess I'll tell you about the test knit first. I can't show that. I thought I was going to be able to show that on the 13th of February, which is when the test knit is due by, but I don't think I will be able to. I don't think I can show that until the publication in which it is featured has been released, and I have no idea when that will be. I've searched it online, can't find it, but I've finished everything that I need to for the test knit, a sleeve, one sleeve and the yoke, and I've also knit about 1.5 balls of wool onto the body. I probably have another half of the body left to go and one more sleeve, which is probably like 8 days of knitting if I focus solely on that. I'm enjoying taking a bit of a break from it now, but I'll probably have that finished in the next month or so. I'm going to be a bit more relaxed about it. I was really nailing that this week, trying to just get to the end of the test knit section. I'll talk more about it when I can show it. It's not that much fun to talk about when I can't show it. But I can show you the swatch that I made for it. I'm using some yarn from the New Lanark Mills, just their DK, and this one is a barber pulled color called Tiger. I'll see if I can. It's swatching it in the round, and I really was unsure about this swatch when I finished it, but I had bought this yarn on my last day in Scotland, so I couldn't get more or a different color if I'd wanted to, and I thought about just using a yarn from Stash, a different thing, because it's quite hard to look at up close. I find it sort of confuses the eye, but I've used a good amount of this now in the jumper, and it looks really nice. So I'm glad that I stuck to my initial plan, and yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Although my dad said that he didn't like it. I showed it to him on FaceTime, so I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe he'll like it when it's done. So that was my first work in progress, and the one that's gotten by far the most attention from me over the past 2 weeks. My second work in progress is in this bag, just because there's so much of it. And it's not going to be much to look at progress-wise, but here's my Burrow cardigan, knitted in Nutiden and silk mohair. Here's the Nutiden. I don't know if the light is good, if you'll be able to see it, but I was here in the last podcast, so I've knit about 2 inches, and I am now ready to join the sleeves once I've knitted the sleeves. So yeah, that's exciting. Since it's bottom up, I'll need to knit the sleeves first, and I think that the sleeves will be sort of a mammoth task because they're quite blousy. But it's knitting up pretty quickly. It's on a 4.5mm needle, so now that I've gotten farther on the test knit, I can spend more time on this, and yeah. I'm really excited to wear this when it's done. I love the color and the way that it's knitting up. So I'm using 1 strand of Nutiden and 2 strands of Knitting for Olive silk mohair in the color medium blue. The third work in progress that I had said that I wanted to work on this fortnight is orange Musselburgh hat. I've been keeping this in my favorite knitting bag, which is from Woolly Originals, and it's machine knitted, I think, on a vintage machine, and it's the Scott Monument, which is right next to where I grew up, and I really love this bag. My favorite small project always lives in here. Here it is. I'm exactly at the halfway point. This safety pin is where I was last time, so I've knit about 3 inches on it. I started out with 30 grams of this orange Superwash Merino, and the increases took me 20, so I'm about halfway through. I started out with 66 grams, and I'm at 30 grams left, so I'm just over halfway through. The increases took me, I think, 20. I just wait it so that I can knit as long as I can, and then I'll do the decreases and use almost all of the yarn. So this is an orange, bright orange yarn that I got from Neighborhood Fiber Co. It was part of the Pride, sort of a mini skein set, but they were all about 60 grams. I think in the year 2020, or maybe it was 2019, I think it was 2020, and I had no idea what I was going to do with this. This is not a color really anywhere in my life, other than maybe my dad's visibility jacket that he wears when he cycles. But otherwise I don't have this color anywhere in my life. And I'm combining it with this mohair from Trey Liz in the color Hakuna Matata, and I think it's amazing. I love them together. Dylan, my boyfriend, calls this my gritty hat. We live in Philadelphia. I hear that it's not hockey season anymore. I'm really trying to get just a baseline knowledge of some of the sports. But I really like it. It's just so much fun. Yeah, so a lot of my mindless stockinette knitting has been going towards the test knit. So I think that this will actually be quite a quick finish for me, because I can just do it while I'm watching TV or something. And now I can focus on it a bit more since I don't have to work so diligently on the test knit. So my last work in progress, sort of, is a bit of a sad story because I'm gonna rip it out. But it's not too sad of a story because I've barely done any on it, so it's not a lot to be ripping out. Just the toe of a sock. Here it is. Here's the toe. Not much to look at. And I'm ripping it out because I think that the gauge is too loose. I'm using 2.5 mil needles. And I just think that it's better, this yarn is better on a 2.25. So I'm going to redo it. It's only the toe, so it's not too big. I'd rather redo it now and have a more hardy pair of socks that just has a better type of fabric than get any farther. So yeah, these are gonna have to be redone. Toe-up socks are quite annoying, in my opinion. I don't do magic loop. I prefer DPNs, and I haven't found a way of doing toe-up socks on DPNs that isn't really fiddly and gives nice clean edges the way that, because top-down socks, the toe, it's so clean, like the edges, it's quite easy to just decrease. I find it more difficult to increase and have it look equally good. But I want to get these to my dad as soon as possible, so yeah, I'm gonna continue working on this over the next 2 weeks. I have one more thing that I've been working on knitting over the past 2 weeks, although I did it yesterday, but it sort of links in with some acquisitions. So I made this swatch yesterday. For the Roosty tank top by Ella Gordon, which is in the Shetland Annual Wool Week 2021. Just fell in love with that pattern. I've been wanting to do an all-over colorwork garment for ages, and I love this pattern, and I don't have to knit sleeves if I do it. So it also means that it will be quite versatile season-wise because it won't be so warm that I can't wear it in when it's a bit warmer. So I made this swatch. I really did everything right. I cut the yarn between every row so it was knitted all knit stitch, so I can get a good idea of my gauge. And I blocked it. I followed the instructions on the tutorial that Ella Gordon did with Jameson's on their website. I think it's on their YouTube channel too, about swatching. So I tied off the ends, and then I also tied off the ends on the back. So it's quite a nice swatch. I think this is a nice object. I'll use it as a coaster or something, or maybe if I make enough of them I could do like a small blanket or something. It's just so beautiful. I really like it. Yeah, this is for the Roosty tank top. So I don't think that I will be casting this on within the next week or two, because I think I want to make some color changes. But I really enjoyed knitting with this wool. Use a 3.5mm needle, and it's just a lovely fabric. I don't normally change needle sizes between stockinette and stranded colorwork. Yeah, but this is just a lovely fabric. I'm really excited about it. I think that I want to switch the lighter orange out for an even lighter orange, and maybe switch the darker red out for that orange that I've got. But I don't know. I'm gonna sit on it for a couple days. Of course, immediately I added a bunch of things to my online shopping carts, but I've managed to hold back so I can really think about it, figure out what I want to do, because I'm not quite happy with the color combination. Maybe it will grow on me. But I did really enjoy making this, and I think it's just a nice thing to have. So I guess now I'll show you some of the yarn that I bought in the past 2 weeks. We can start with the yarn that I used for this swatch. My boyfriend and I went out to New Jersey, and we went to a shop called Wool Bearers because I had looked online and I saw that they carried Jameson of Shetland in store. I really wanted to see all of the yarns in person to plan for the Roosty tank tops. And after quite a bit of deliberating, I settled on this color palette. So the pattern recommends 3 yarns in a similar color, one of them quite light and one of them quite dark, and then one in the middle. And then there's 2 contrast colors in a different color palette. The original has a really beautiful blue and like rusty red, so I wanted to do something a bit different, but just a little bit different. So I went for these lovely teal greeny colors and a reddish orange. But I don't think that these two are quite different enough, so I'm sort of on the fence. But I do love these colors together. I think they're gorgeous. Got 6 of these, 1 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and I think 4 of these. And I'm making the size 3, which is a 104 centimeter bust. It's not got any shaping in it, so that will be close to no ease around my chest, but quite a lot of ease in the body, so I don't think I would want it to be much bigger than that. I'm really excited. I love this yarn. I also, while I was there, bought this color. This is Jade. I just thought it was beautiful and I couldn't leave it behind. Oh, I guess I'll tell you the colors of my Roosty palette. This is, the darkest is Pine Forest. The medium is Turf. This light blue is Willow. The dark red is Ruby. And this orange is Ember. I also bought, I think it's just a different brand of the knitting, what was popularized by the Knitting Barber, the cords for slipping whips onto. I've been using them. It's not quite as secure of a connection as podcasters online had led me to believe, but it is functional, it's usable, and it's really nice to be able to put that. It's so quick. Even I have interchangeable needles, but this is even faster, and it means that I can use my cables more sparingly. So I also bought those. I know that apparently pony bead string is just the same thing, and I almost bought some of that online, but it was the same price, and ultimately I'd rather not have a huge excess of it. I think it was like, you get like so much for the same amount, So maybe if you're a part of a knitting group or something, that would be really good, but it's just me. I don't need like 15 times what comes in that tin, because I'm just one person. I'd rather have the space and the right amount than lots. But if you're in a group of people, it would probably be cost effective to just get the pony bead string online. Yeah. I didn't make this purchase in the 2 weeks, but it arrived, and it was an order from Musselburgh that I had made right before I left Scotland. I should have made it earlier, but it wasn't on my mind, and I remembered like 2 days before I left, and I thought, well, I may as well just get it now, or I'll forget about it. And I got a gift card from a really good friend of mine who is sort of under my wing knitting her first garment, which is a cardigan, and I helped her figure out what yarn to buy, because she'd picked out a pattern and advised her on what sort of pattern to do. So for Christmas, she gave me a gift card for Musselburgh, because we had a plan to drive, it's about 2 hours from where I was, to the Musselburgh studio and farm, and walk around there. But when I got to Scotland, because of the delays in the Royal Mail during the holiday period, my PCR test after the flight took over a week to come back, so there wasn't time for us to drive down. So I ordered some stuff online, and I'll show you what it is. I got one skein of their Cuthbert sock in the color Melrose Abbey in this navy blue, and then I got a skein of Cheviot Marsh DK in the color Equinox. And can I just say, Cuthbert sock, this is maybe the nicest yarn I've ever touched. It's so beautiful. Look at how drapey it is. And that's in the skein. It's stunning. It's no nylon sock yarn, 300 meters per 100 grams, and I'm so excited to use it. I'm trying to hold back until I finish the socks for my dad, even winding into a ball, but it's amazing. It's so beautiful. It was quite expensive, but that's fine. It's so nice. Really out of this world. I can't describe it. It's like soft and shiny and so, yeah, exquisite. This is exquisite yarn. The Cheviot Marsh is also nice. I mean, it's not like so special to me in the way that the blue sock yarn is, but I got it in this orange color because I received a sweater's quantity of the color Northern Soul, which is like a bit of a lighter orange yellow, and I thought that maybe I would want to do some contrast edging in this orange. I don't know. Either way, I do love an orange color, and it's really nice. So Heather and Hops, Kat from Heather and Hops, showed, like, I think the Americans call them dickies. It's like a turtleneck little bib that Kat has put a button on under the arms that you can add to an outfit to make it much warmer without having all of the bulk of a big jumper. And that uses 2 skeins of DK weight. So I'm quite tempted to do something like that because I think that that would be really practical and really nice. It's just a really good idea. So I do love this too. It's very nice. 230 meters per around 100 grams. And it arrived a few days ago, so that's about 2.5 weeks for shipping, which really isn't bad. my experience, things take 3 weeks to a month to get to the States, at least for the past 6 months or so they have, so 2.5 weeks not bad at all. So that's everything I've been working on. That's everything I have to show you, and it's gotten pretty dark outside, so I hope that the video is still looking good. And over the next, I might update in less than 2 weeks. If I'm not working on the test knit, then I'll have more to show you. I'd love to talk about some plans for the year, maybe a tentative make 9. I also bought a knitting cart. Well, it's just like a 3-tiered cart from the Container Store, but I'm using it as a knitting cart, and I've been loving it. So I want to make a video about what I've been doing with it, how it's been working for me, and how I organize all of my knitting stuff. So maybe I'll do that if I'm making more frequent videos, then that might be something that's interesting to show. And that's pretty much all of the knitting that I have to show you. I can talk about some life updates. Mainly that I had a driving lesson this week. I've been trying to get my license for about 5 years. I took maybe 60 lessons in Scotland in between the years 2016 and 2019. I ended up taking my test and I failed because I messed up the parallel parking. Then I moved back to the States. COVID happened. I haven't driven in years now. So I've been trying to get my license, and I've gone through all of the logistical parts, and I just have to take the test. So I've had 1 lesson. It went okay. I only drove on the wrong side of the road 1 time. It's really not too bad. So maybe the next time I film, I'll have my driver's license. And that's really the biggest life update that's been happening for me. Just excitement about maybe being able to drive. Not much else going on right now. I hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. Hopefully I am getting better at this every time I do it. And I will talk to you soon. Have a good week. Goodbye.